Hey, this is Craig Ford, Mayor Gadsden. This is Michael Rogers, who's over our public affairs, public relations / everything. But Michael has put together, along with Garrett, who's behind the camera, who you can't see, this Mayor's Minute. And we were talking about how this one's going to be longer and worried that people may or may not like it. But we wanted to let you see kind of a little bit what goes on behind the curtain. Nothing secrecy, but what we do on Monday mornings from 9 to 10, and you'll see that, and then from 10 to 11 when we have a leadership meeting.
Okay, so the ESG grant, it has been submitted. We have copies available here in the mayor's office, and that is a match grant, so it's a total of $400,000.
Good.
So this grant right here, Family Success Center as well as Salvation Army would be two sub-recipients for that particular grant. So it would do case management, and we do have a scope of work that was submitted to us by another nonprofit who would do the total case management for that. So that's all pieces that we would have to deal with homelessness. So what that would look like, let's just say there was a person sitting on Broad Street and we identified that that individual was homeless. Well, we would take them to that nonprofit. They would do an intake process, and then through case management determine if that person, if they're homeless because of mental illness or because of addiction or because of economic instability. They will figure out what that problem is and put them in the pipeline for that.
We're looking at things like leadership, communication, time management, teamwork, things like that might benefit. And we'll start with the management and then maybe work ourselves down to the employees themselves.
I like that. That's good.
And then also there's been some clarity that we need for the employee requisition form, and we'll clear that up with the directors meeting today.
Fire Station 5, we're wrapping up, getting ready to put it out for advertisement as well. I have not received all of the plans from the architect yet, but we're working through our civil side as well, so that should come together nicely. Spring Rock drainage, along with a whole lot of other drainage projects. It's got some red tape there as well, so I've got to get some right-of-way surveyed and identified the actual location where that's at and start the environmental reviews that are required. And then we'll finally be able to use some of the ARP funding on that side as well. And we'll keep chugging through each one of these. There's a lot of them.
So how many drainage projects do you have in working right now?
I don't have them. You've got them in front of you. It's probably 35.
Okay, so basically the ARP funds became available, and then everything up till now, and engineering's almost complete. So we should start seeing tractors on roads.
Yes, sir.
Drainage projects taking place coming up in the fall.
Yes, sir. The plans are getting finalized, which identifies the amount of land that we need in some cases, the environmental reviews that are going to have to happen. So there's still some obstacles there. But as we spend the ARP money, we've still got a lot of issues that we've designed through. So we'll also maximize our local funding and work with you for additional grants as we get with that with each other to push them all ahead. So
good job.
Yep. So I've got some exciting news. Is that we met with the EYSA Board of Directors last Thursday, and we met with those guys, and after a couple of hours of meeting, we realized that it was probably time that we took over that soccer association. It was more advantageous for the kids and the parents. As we bring EYSA to the city of Gadsden, we'll be changing the name to EYSL, which will be the Etowah Youth Soccer League. What happens there is that we'll be able to use our computer programs with Rec Desk to be able to schedule more efficiently our teams, our practices, our games. We'll be able to have more practice facilities. We'll have better facilities. We'll have better equipment. And so as far as a soccer league goes, this is going to be a huge deal for the Etowah County, not just for the city of Gadsden, but for all of the kids in Etowah County. Rush was behind Gadsden State as well, but I think they are now moving to Rainbow City, and their home will be there, so it'll allow us to expand and have more kids behind college. So I think it's really going to be a big deal for the city of Gadsden. So we're excited about it.
The demolition process has been going very smoothly. A lot of it is detailed in how we're actually conducting them. by accumulating them and then continuing the process of determining what needs to be demoed. But through that accumulation process, we've been using the geographical information system to identify groups of houses that can be torn down, not simultaneously, but within a specific group, so the demolition team can move through the city within groups.
That's great. That's good. And I think we're almost done with that first list.
Yes.
We're close. Okay, good job.
Ruth and I had an experience, of course, on Friday. The city got hit, pretty hard with those storms. We were here at City Hall, and I know y'all were out of town at the previous meeting. Normally it would be y'all with your boots on the ground, but we were able to jump in and just kind of get out of the way of our first responders, really. But it was eye-opening for us and for me, specifically in the fire department, seeing how they work alongside and respond. At one point, there were only 2 fire trucks available for emergency response outside of storm damage because they were out there dealing with trees and potential fire hazards. And, there were all kinds of reports of people potentially trapped in
Any
cars
injuries
and-
from our first responders? Or
No injuries, no.
What about the citizens?
None that I was aware of that were reported, except for, I believe there was one person who may have gotten shocked by a live wire, but they were okay. It was just, they got lucky, frankly. And then there were some reports of, you think you might potentially have someone trapped in a home with a tree down, and thankfully they were out at dinner and not in the home, and so everybody was okay. But I'll just tell you, watching the firefighters respond and talk to the citizens and, help them understand the dangers of live wires and what's going on and where you can walk, where you can't walk, they did a phenomenal job. And so I was proud of them. As far as the airport goes, Anthony Tarver is coming on as our airport manager. He starts on the 4th, so that I believe is next Friday. So we're going to get over there and get him acclimated to the team and the board. And
So following up with Brett, the Public Works has been extremely busy, the tree crew specifically, as well as the storm crew, emergency storm crew. They were out most of the night Friday night and then started back early Saturday morning. Of course, we've gotten our new garbage truck in, and it looks phenomenal, and we're very proud of it. We have more equipment coming. It just takes a little while to get this equipment in due to COVID, so we're still dealing with some supply chain issues. So far as the police department, a couple of things. This Friday, we will submit a Homeland Security grant for about $85,000-ish, somewhere in that neighborhood, for search and rescue equipment. That's sonar equipment, so that when we have someone in the river, we can actually identify if it's a bicycle or a person. So that will help everybody in Etowah County as well as some surrounding counties. So we're excited about that grant. We're hoping we get it. We changed the maximum age with the civil service for both fire and police. That has been a huge success. I think, Brett, you've received 2 applications. I've received 1 for police. So changing the maximum age, I think, is going to benefit us greatly. Of course, police have been extremely busy with storms as well. And then we are working with Jacksonville State University right now to develop a statewide survey to look at why people are not going into the law enforcement profession. So another neighboring state has been successful with obtaining information and then using that information with their state government as well as their federal government to get some laws changed that help to attract police officers. So we're hoping we can kind of mimic what they did in Mississippi and get some good data back and use that.
So we had 2 officers swear in last
Correct.
Friday. How many are we down now?
That puts us at, well, by the time they take the streets, that'll put us at 75.
And we're budgeted for how many? 110?
108.
108, okay.
So,
So we're still hiring.
right, we are
Yeah.
definitely still hiring. We will always be hiring because
Yeah.
as we hire one retires.
Okay.
We hire, retire.
Yeah, sure.
So,
All right, thank you. Michael, what did you think of today? How do you want to frame it up?
I mean, it was just what we do on Monday mornings. It's also interesting to me to see kind of what y'all do to prepare for our meeting with all the department heads, because y'all get together down here in the mayor's office before we all get together as a larger staff. So it was interesting to me to kind of see even a little bit of what goes on there. So, and I think this is a great opportunity for the public to see kind of how, we work together as a staff just because having everybody in the same room, one department may have a problem that another department doesn't know about, but they may be able to help with.
So this is our department head meeting. We have almost 25 to 30 department heads that'll come to this meeting every other Monday at 10 a.m. So we go around the room to begin the meeting, and we introduce ourselves and what department, and then we get into the business. So let's start right here.
Yep, I am John Moore, and I'm the Director of Commercial Development and Public Affairs.
I'm David Hooks. I am the Executive Director of the Gaston Etowah Industrial Development Authority.
I'm Kay Moore. I'm Director for Downtown Gaston.
I'm Iva Nelson, and I'm City Clerk.
I'm Jen Wethington. I'm Director of Parks and Recreation.
I'm Christina Richardson. I'm the Supervisor at Nakalula Falls.
I'm Shannon Bell. I'm the Chief Magistrate with Gadsden Municipal Court.
I'm Kathy Jackson. I'm the Fleet Maintenance Manager.
I'm Lee Roberts, City Attorney.
I'm Will Reed. I'm the Fire Chief.
Jerry Ramsey, I manage communications.
Stephanie Tidwell, I work in the MIS department.
I'm Howell Matthews, I'm Public Works Director.
Brandon Phillips, Finance Director.
Brittany Perkins, Executive Assistant to the Mayor. Melissa Battles, Executive Assistant to the Mayor.
I'm Nick Hall, Director of Human Resources.
Rod Scott, Director of Planning and Zoning.
Lamar Jaggers, Police Chief.
Terrence Renault, Facility Maintenance.
Steve Partridge, Transportation Director.
Craig Scott, Director of the Gadsden Public Library.
Ray Wetzel, Director of the Gadsden Museum of Art.
Michael Rogers, Public Affairs Coordinator.
Heath Williamson, Director of Engineering.
Ruth Moffitt, DEI Director.
Tina King, Director of City Services.
Brett Johnson, Chief of Staff.
That was the thing I was most amazed about is when Kathy at Fleet, we call her Kathy at Fleet, it's Kathy Jackson, but when Kathy says, well, I got a loader truck that will be ready tomorrow, and then Howell at Public Works says, oh, I didn't know that, okay. And it's really, to me, it's neat and refreshing to see everybody communicate back and forth. And it saves a lot of phone call, a lot of email. And then we had a lot of people, when we started these, say, I really never met you. And they've been working together 10, 15 years. They go now and they become friends, and now they're helping each other. And today we had something where we needed a loader truck. What was it?
Bucket truck.
Bucket truck. And our bucket truck got hit by lightning. So another department said, I'll let you borrow my bucket truck, but I got to have it back. But they said, I'll let you borrow my bucket truck to get something done for DGI so we can listen to music on Broad Street. So it's just refreshing to see everybody communicate and work together. And it's not that you brought up a good point, and I kind of wanted you to reiterate that. We're not trying to be secret in any way.
Right.
It's just some things aren't ready. What did you say?
So the difference between secrecy and privacy, that secrecy kind of implies that you're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing wrong with being private. Just
Right.
like when I get dressed in the morning, I don't get dressed on my front porch. It's just that
Your neighbors appreciate that, probably.
I'm sure they
I'm
do,
just kidding.
and Chief Jaggers as well.
Yeah.
But there are just some things that just aren't ready for the public yet, and so we've got to work those things out internally before and make sure all the bugs are worked out
Right.
before we bring it out to all the citizens.
And one thing you are about, and I am too, we're trying to be as transparent as possible.
Absolutely.
There's only so much we can do on Channel 99, but we had this idea, it was my crazy idea last week, to say, hey, let's video a leadership meeting and then a second leadership meeting. So we have been wearing Michael and Garrett out in public relations, but Michael does an excellent job. Many of y'all may know him from the past of Gadsden Times. He's married, and let me tell you, Michael does a phenomenal job, and Garrett's behind the camera. We're going to do an interview with Garrett later, but he's a student at Jacksonville State, and he's come on board, but y'all are just a two-man crew and do a great job. So I hope y'all enjoyed today, the Mayor's Minute. I hope you get something out of it. It's not a cure-all, but it is something where we communicate and we're able to go over plans of what's going on and catch up and see where we are and see where we can help each other. So the most important thing is it's your tax dollars, and then we're trying to do the best possible thing for you to get projects completed. I look out my window right now, and as I see a loader truck and Department of Public Safety, we're blocking off 411. We're cleaning up the the embankment so you can see the river, just trying to do little things to help out Gadsden look better and get things going in more of an effective and efficient way. So, Michael, you got anything else?
I think that covers it.
Okay. Hey, thank y'all, and from the City of Gadsden, Craig Ford and Michael, the Mayor's Minute.